My dear students, ladies and gentlemen, we are trying to make ourselves aware that what are those unique differences, maybe in personal standards when we speak of values. Maybe this is the uniqueness in the learning styles of yours and mine, and the colleagues and the peers and the people around you. And we are also trying to make ourselves aware and updated. These unique individual differences will always be there. देखिए ना, आपके और आपके साथ बैठने वाले दाएं बाएं स्टूडेंट्स, घर में, मार्केट में, लोगों के स्टैंडर्ड्स मुख्तलिफ होंगे. Let us assume that these will be different. So if it is different, then how are we going to keeping in mind that this diversity and difference will be there? And keeping this in mind that we need to be successful while managing the resources, managing the people, managing the technology, managing and dealing with people especially. इसलिए कि we're talking of the people. Personal standards तो लोगों के होंगे ना जो different होंगे. वैसे तो आप ये कह सकते हैं कि process के standards भी different होते हैं, technology के standards, but when we speak of management skills, we're trying to learn the standards will be different, which will lead to the difference in the values. ये हम learn करके आए हैं. फिर हमने ये भी learn किया कि learning styles are different. My dear managers, जब styles different हैं, values और personal standards different हैं, तो आज हम ये learn करना चाहेंगे कि फिर मेरी और आपकी personality, मेरी और आपकी interpersonal needs, मेरी और आपकी interaction के patterns वो भी different है. And this itself, information becomes important. That number one, what are my interpersonal needs? Number two, how do I interact with myself and others? Self-awareness का तो मतलब यही हुआ ना, I should know how do I tick. I should know where do I boil. I should know where do I get freeze. And I should know what is the best and optimum way of interacting, maybe with the boss, maybe with the client, maybe with the family member, maybe someone who may be of your type and someone who may be different than you. So speaking of personality then, number one, what is my type of personality? I should know. Number two, the person with whom you are interacting in the office, in the market, on the operation floor, on the assembly line, talking on the phone, talking in the market, talking in the home, talking in the office, speaking vertically, speaking horizontally, speaking in the project teams, maybe in the sales team, maybe in the software development team. So many workplaces, personalities will be different. My dear students, जब ये इतनी uniqueness और individuality personalities में आपको understand करनी है और take it for granted लेनी है, so then it's important that we need to know what are those personality types, what is your personality, and what are your interpersonal needs. And speaking of the personality and the interpersonal needs, maybe sometime then it becomes important. What are your intrapersonal needs? Someone who is residing in you. Is it the same? Is it the same personality inside what you have outside? That's what we call it intrapersonal. So intrapersonal needs, personal needs, interpersonal needs. Certainly, All of these issues are related. And in other words, how are you going to manage your intrapersonal needs? Remember, we were talking about the personal system. So each one of us has a system, different, unique, one of its own. That's why these 5 areas of self-awareness, we are entering into the third area, and this is called the area of personality, the area where you like to fulfill the interpersonal needs. And when you try to determine your preferences, when you try to determine how are you going to interact, what time, at what place, how, when, where, and why, these are the answers you will be expecting from yourself. That's why we were looking at personality, and we said, पिछले session के बिल्कुल end में, we said that in the organizations, in psychology, we express that all those ways you interact and react to situation, react to conversation, react to communication, react to other persons speaking about you, speaking for you, speaking about the product, speaking about the organization, how you react. This determines your personality. How much time do you take? What kind of emotions you display? How does the color of your face change? How do you handle your eyebrows? Would you like to give the answer immediately? Or would you like to wait? Some people wait for months and years to give the answer. So that's why the way you react and the way you interact will determine what kind of personality you possess. Now, that's yours. That's mine. And why it is important to know the others? Because we have to react and interact with others to fulfill our needs. This is our personal need. तो पर्सनैलिटी को डिस्कस करते हुए एक चीज तो ये सामने आई, and we have to take it for granted. Well, part of it comes from heredity. Part of it is in our genes, is in our DNA. तो आपने सुना होगा ना, बाज़ वक़्त कहते हैं मैन्युफैक्चरिंग मिस्टेक है. Well, I don't want to say it's a mistake. I think it is the way we are. And once we know that this is how we are, then is it all, or is there something else into it? Well, second part is environment. What is the environment in which we are reacting and interacting? And the third part is, how do we react and interact to a situation? So that's why it is the sum total. It is a semi-permanent features and characteristics of you and me. But this is important to understand, because your skill and my skill will depend, number one, how do I handle myself? आपने देखा होगा कुछ लोगों को ऐसा करंट लगता है कि उनकी आवाज का वॉल्यूम भी बढ़ जाता है, उनकी आंखों के अंदर इमोशंस का इजहार भी इस कदर होता है कि उनका चेहरे का एक्सप्रेशन ही चेंज हो जाता है. और कुछ लोग ऐसे स्पॉट फेसेस आपको सामने रखते हैं, ऐसे तरीके से बिहेव करते हैं कि एज इफ कुछ हुआ ही नहीं. These are the characteristics you need to be aware of. You need to be informed. Awareness इसी का नाम है ना. हम शायद उनको बहुत चेंज तो ना कर सकें, लेकिन हम अपने आप को तो चेंज कर लेना कि next time when we react or interact with him, how do I am going to behave? इसलिए कि देखिए, मेरा और आपका behavior, skill is action based. Behavior could be hand based. Behavior could be word based. Behavior could be non-verbal. Behavior could be how you look at me and I look at you. Behavior is, when you talk to me, did I walk away? Behavior is, When you talk to me, did I sit down and gave you a full attention? Behavior is, when you spoke to me, I start smiling. Behavior is, when you said something, I became furious. This is behavior. Something is cooking behind the face. Effective manager is the one who can read the face. Effective manager is the one who can read what is written on the face. अच्छा, एक्सपीरियंस से आता है, लेकिन कुछ स्किल लर्न करने से भी आता है कि हाउ एंड व्हेन यू सी दोज कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स है ना, when you see those characteristics, you expect, you perceive that how this person will react and interact in a given situation. Lekin, before you know others, it's very important that you know yourself. What is your personality type? Because that personality type will determine, will define, will describe some features, some characteristics about you and about me and about the others. And when you see those features and characteristics in some other person, you would know he's of your type or he is not of your type. So the question is, then do we get the answer? Yes, we do get the answer. Because in every day, we meet different people, dozens of people, dozens of personality types. And we will see that knowing the type of personality and knowing that what kind of vocation and job and workplace may be suitable, may be excellent, may be not suitable for that kind of personality. अच्छा, तो देखिए HR के perspective में भी, and of course, I think in some multinational companies in Pakistan and some leading Pakistani companies, when you go and apply for a job, they give you a personality test. They like to find out that for this kind of job, for this type of job, what kind of personalities are more suitable. इसलिए कि those suitability, job, person, fit. एक तो होता है ना, organization, person, fit. उसकी बात नहीं मैं कर रहा. We're talking about the kind of job, the kind of vocation, the kind of activities you will be doing from 8 to 5 or from 9 to 6. Every day. Do you fit for it? जब हम कहते हैं ना, do you fit for it? It means, does your personality fit for it? For example, I'm a professor. I have to deal with students, females and males, young ones and not so young ones, executives, managers, head of the departments. And when you reach of my experience and age, maybe you have to deal with professors and deans and rectors, and vice chancellors. And when I travel abroad, you meet different types of cultures and languages and habits. And then you add another dimension of personality. Well, management skill becomes important. How I'm going to negotiate with him, how I'm going to present my idea, how I'm going to react what he or she says. Very common when I go abroad, especially to higher educational institutions, universities, maybe to develop a partnership, maybe to present what are the programs available in Pakistan. You never know what kind of person you are going to interact with. Hundreds of students. For example, going to Dubai, those Pakistani students or non-Pakistani students, they have never been to Pakistan. The very first question is, how are the things and how is the life in Pakistan? Now, मेरे लिए और आपके लिए, things are very normal. But for someone who have never been to Pakistan, Here is the question. Would you become allergic? Would you become withdrawn? Would you become fearful? Would you take it as a verbal onslaught? Well, you need to learn. You need to learn what is the response to be given at what time, situation, environment, and how are you going to manage your personality that when something like that happens, what is the optimum behavior? Optimum. Because the skill that we're talking here is which will make you effective. You have to make a sale, and sale should be done. You have to give a presentation, and presentation must be listened to. You have a half an hour or 45 minutes. You should put your message across, let the other person give you the response, and maybe you develop an MOU. And maybe partnership is developed. Win-win. Win-lose is no good. So when you interact with other person, and if the outcome is win-lose, well, that's no good. And how about if it's a lose-lose? क्या मतलब है कुछ झगड़ा हो गया. You could not put your word across and he or she could not make you listen. That's what we call lose-lose. So my dear students, this is the uniqueness of personality, that you have these choices. Of course, you will agree with me, the best would be the way that you manage the situation in such a way, in a skillful way, that it should be a win-win. You will be effective to achieve your goal. And at the same time, the other person should be happy in sitting with you for half an hour, in talking to you for 10 minutes, in dealing with you for day in and day out. मैंने कहा था ना, कुछ लोगों के साथ 5 मिनट गुजारने मुश्किल हो जाते हैं, कुछ के साथ वक्त का पता ही नहीं चलता. Personality. That's why we are saying that these are the attributes. Some comes from biology and heredity and genetics. We have no control. We cannot change the DNA. But people can make changes to their personality if they are determined. अगर उन्हें गुस्सा जल्दी आता था, अच्छा क्या ख्याल है, आपको गुस्सा आता है? Well, then you manage your anger. Think of the personality which can absorb. अच्छा, जब हम absorb की बात कर रहे हैं, तो shock absorbers, गुस्सा absorber, emotion absorber, anger absorber. अब इसका standard क्या है? Now, of course, I can't give you a standard where you can measure your anger. मैं इसलिए कहता हूं ना, what is the temperature where you boil? अच्छा, boil body temperature तो 37 है हम सबका. It's a normal human body temperature. I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking is, when somebody says something, when somebody responds about something, when somebody write an email to you, give you a phone call, you listen the way he or she talks to you. How do you respond? How do you react? How do you interact? What kind of heat is generated? Does it boil you and me? Or does it show the light? Personalities do matter. अच्छा, फिर psychology से हम ये learn करते हैं कि these personalities, it's very important. Can it be changed? यही तो focus है इस course का. Yes, we can learn these skills. We can learn these skills, management skills, where we can manage our personality and the personality of others. Now, this is my belief. This is how I take the personality. एक तो ये है ना, आप ये कहेंगे कि जी with the passage of age, personalities do get changed. Yes, okay, I agree. लेकिन इसमें भी exceptions आपको नजर आएंगे कि एज ने भी उन लोगों का कुछ नहीं बिगाड़ा होता, तालीम ने भी उन लोगों का कुछ नहीं बिगाड़ा होता. लेकिन people like you, Generation Y, my dear students, young people, men and women, managers of Pakistan, 21st century, knowing and learning how can we manage our personality, that at the end of the day we achieve our personal goals and the goals of the organization. At the end of the day, the team we are working in, team wins the World Cup. Now, winning the World Cup is important. And it's not alone one person, the captain, who will win. No, I'm sorry. It's not possible. You have 5, 10, 15 personalities working with you. You have to work through them. Sales team, R&D team, production team, customer relationing team. You have to set targets together. You have to work on projects together. All personalities will not be same. So if they are different, मेरा ख्याल है आप मुझसे एग्री करेंगे, people are different. ये जो आपके साथ क्लास में दाएं बाएं स्टूडेंट्स बैठे हुए, they are all different. Number one, if they are different, what is the difference between you and them? And if it's a different, what is the best way of interacting with them that you achieve your goals and I achieve my goal? That is the purpose of learning about personality. Learning about the personality types, let us learn first that these are the traits and attributes which make you unique. ठीक है? And if this is unique, this means we need to self-evaluate ourselves. What is the level of my self-esteem? How do I get my self-efficacy? And then, what are the ways I get satisfied on the job? Because of this uniqueness in my personality, how can I make my life happy? Now, this is your life. It's my life. You have to make it happy. Acha, if you're not happy, then what will happen? Well, I'm sorry. If you go in the workplace, in the office, and you know it's not a happy office, it's not a happy workplace, you are putting a pressure on your biology. You are putting a pressure on your physiology. You are putting a pressure on your systems. It will lead to ulcer. It will lead to stress. It will lead to ulcer. It will lead to high blood pressure. It will lead to high blood sugar. Think about it. Let us bring happiness in the life so that there could be happiness in the job. How can that happen? Number one, let's learn the secret of working with different people. Let us learn how to work to achieve those targets which can make people happy. Your happiness is dependent upon, my happiness is dependent upon you. Those students who are listening to me, sitting for their 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 50 minutes, I have to make them satisfied. Because once you're satisfied, you'll feel happy. Time will pass on. So knowing the kind of personality we can manage, इसलिए कि काम तो इकट्ठे करना है. So taking this course, developing management skill, अब ये semester तो फिर आपको मेरे साथ गुजारना ही होगा. I should know that I'm interacting with you, different personalities. Generation Y, what are their demands, what are their needs? And at the same time, you should learn. Watching me, talking to you, using my gestures, verbal and non-verbal communication, thinking about what kind of this professor is we are dealing with. Test है. पहले आप अपना टेस्ट ले लीजिए पर्सनालिटी के बारे में. What kind of personality do you have? और फिर guess कीजिए what kind of personality the other person would have. All right? Are you ready then? Well, if you are ready then, let's learn this concept, what is known as Big 5 personality factors. You might have studied this in OB, Organization Behavior course. Gives you two extremes. It's a scale. Basically, it was developed for vocations, for jobs. That when you hire people, it's a tool given to the HR managers. And this tool helps you, or helps the HR managers, that whether this person having this personality would fit in this job, and where does he or she lies on this scale. For example, scale number 1. There are hundreds of factors, but those factors are put into 5 major factors. That's why it's called Big 5 personality factors. Factor number 1, what is the emotional stability of this person? We are all different. दिल ही तो है न संगो खिश्त, दर्द से भरना आए क्यों. लेकिन हम ये लर्न करेंगे कि हाँ, कुछ ऐसे लोग भी होते हैं कि जिनका दिल पत्थर होता है. पत्थर क्यों होता? और अगर पत्थर दिल वाला कोई मैनेजर, कोई कुलीग आपको मिल जाए, तो फिर कैसे उससे डील करना है? ना, पत्थर दिल से मुराद ये नहीं है कि उसका दिल पत्थर का है. What it does mean is, in terms of emotions, maybe he would lie on one extreme of the scale. You will find people, you will see people emotionless. कुछ भी हो जाए, पी जाएंगे. I'm not saying right or wrong. All what we are learning is, please, next time when you see a person, see where, number 1, you fit yourself on the emotional stability scale. इसको psychology में हम neuroticism भी कहते हैं. Emotional stability. For example, on the left hand side, you say stable, confident. On the right hand side, you will see moody, nervous. अब आप मुझे बताइए, don't you see some nervous people in the office and the market? And don't you see some stable people who have the moods, but they do not show the mood? See, that's where you manage the personality. इसलिए कि मैंने कहा ना कि we all have hearts. Heart is a source of emotion. Some people hide that emotion. We're not saying right or wrong. Is it good or bad? No. All what we are learning is, अच्छा फिर इसी से देखिए, NPL, Neuro Programming Language. How can you learn what is the language the customer is speaking in? Is it emotion full language, or is it the language of logic? ये भी learn कीजिए आप. But right now, on this scale, factor number 1, where would you place yourself and where would you place the other? And knowing this, how would you deal with nervous people? अच्छा, nervous, 2 लोग इकट्ठे हो जाएंगे तो वो तो पूरा डिपार्टमेंट और ऑफिस और वो पूरा माहौल ही नर्वस हो जाएगा. क्या ख्याल है? और अगर उस टीम के अंदर सारे ही मूडी हो, तो फिर काम कौन करेगा? रिस्क कौन लेगा? करेज कौन लेगा? वो तो मूड बना के बैठे रहेंगे. अच्छा, इसमें जेंडर का भी कोई इशू नहीं है. All what we are talking here is, people have personalities, male and female, and factor number 1 is how stable emotionally they are. Factor number 2, agreeableness. Can we live with them? Can he or she agree? और जैसे फैकल्टी मेंबर्स के बारे में हम अमूमन कहा करते हैं कि फैकल्टी मेंबर इज ए पर्सन who agree to disagree. That's how you create research. You come up with an idea. I may agree, I may not agree. And when I don't agree, I give you the logic. I come up with a new proposition. That helps you to generate a new theory. But then we also need, in certain situation, that how can I persuade you, negotiate with you, converge your opinion to a point. Convergence बहुत जरूरी है. तो एग्रीएबलनेस का मतलब ये है, आपकी पर्सनैलिटी कैसी है? स्वीट है, साल्टी है, सावर है. अच्छा, तीनों ही टेस्ट है ना. हम ये नहीं कह सकते हैं कि इनमें से अच्छा टेस्ट कौन सा है और अच्छा कौन सा नहीं. एंड दैट रिकॉल्स मी दैट स्टोरी जो मुझे किस जमाने में मैंने शायद स्कूल में पढ़ी थी. माई लव इज लाइक साल्ट. पढ़िए जरा उस स्टोरी को. क्या है? One statement was, my love is like honey. Second statement was, my love is like sugar. And the third statement is, my love is like salt. And see, how many days can you live on sugar and honey? Do you need salt? Do you need salty people? Do you need salty ideas? Agreeableness. हमने कहा था ना, uniqueness in the personalities. तो ये scale क्या है? On one hand, you see warm people, considerate people. दूसरे end पर क्या है? Cold people, rude people. आप मुझे बताइए, cold लोग होते हैं बर्फ की सिल, तूफान गुजर जाए कुछ नहीं होगा. रूड, हर चीज पे रूड है, खाने पे भी रूड है, कुलीग पे भी रूड है, घर में पता नहीं क्या करते होंगे. अच्छा, अब घर में अगर दोनों ही रूड हो गए, सन एंड फादर, डॉटर एंड मदर, हस्बैंड एंड वाइफ, फिर क्या होगा? रूड पर्सन वर्सेस अ रूड पर्सन, इंटरेक्शन होगा तो एंड क्या होगा? रूड कस्टमर एंड रूड सेल्स पर्सन, एंड रिजल्ट क्या होगा? इसलिए जापानी ये कहते हैं कि यू कैन विन एन आर्गुमेंट फ्रॉम द कस्टमर, यू कैन विन एन आर्गुमेंट विद द कस्टमर, बट यू विल लूज द कस्टमर. That's not win-win. That's lose-lose. So please, let us learn agreeableness on this scale, that if my or your personality is a kind of rude personality. अच्छा, ये भी हम लर्न करेंगे कि कैसे पता चलेगा हमें कि मेरी पर्सनैलिटी रूड है. एक टेस्ट आएगा आगे चल के, हम उसे कहते हैं लुकिंग ग्लास टेस्ट. वैसे आईना तो आप देखते ही हैं, नाउ वी वुड लाइक टू सी द मिरर फ्रॉम द व्यू पॉइंट ऑफ द मैनेजमेंट. सो ऑन द स्केल ऑफ एग्रीएबलनेस यू गॉट टू स्केल्स. वेयर वुड यू लाई योरसेल्फ? तीसरा फैक्टर पर्सनैलिटी को डिटरमिन करते हुए अंडर द मॉडल ऑफ बिग फाइव इज व्हाट वी कॉल इज एक्स्ट्रावर्जन और सोशबिलिटी. हाउ सोशल यू आर. आपको झिझोड़ना पड़ता है बुलाने के लिए, या आप खुद से बोलने लगते हैं? और मुझे आप बताइए कि जिसको झिझोड़ा जाए बोलने के लिए, उसको आप सेल्स की जॉब देंगे? वो क्या प्रोफेसर बनने के काबिल है? कैन शी बी अपॉइंटेड एज ए लेक्चरर? जिसको स्टूडेंट बैठे रहें और लेक्चरर साहब जाके बैठ जाएं और उनको मुंह में से अल्फाज ही ना निकलें. एक्सट्रोवर्जन आपने सुना होगा, एक्सट्रोवर्ट वर्सेस इंट्रोवर्ट, उसकी भी हम बात करेंगे. बट दिस इज अ सोशबिलिटी. ऑन वन हैंड देखिए, पीपल आर एनर्जेटिक, सेल्फ ड्रामेटाइजिंग, एवर रेडी. उनको रोकना पड़ता, भाई जरा रुक जाएं, हमारी भी बात सुन लें. दूसरी तरफ है शाई, अनअसर्टिव, विथड्रॉन, वोंट स्पीक. अच्छा, फिर पर्सनैलिटी मेजर करने के बाद इंस्ट्रूमेंट आएगा ना. वी नीड टू असेस व्हाट इज द पर्सनैलिटी. नाउ इफ यू आर डीलिंग, नंबर वन, इफ योर पर्सनैलिटी इज विथड्रॉन, अगेन इट्स नॉट अ क्वेश्चन ऑफ राइट और रॉन्ग. दिस इज हाउ यू आर. You must be aware of it. Now, if you have a personality which is withdrawn and unassertive, well, then you need to find a kind of vocation, a kind of job where isolation is required to do the work. हम उसको कहते हैं back-end job. A job where you will be given certain task and you're sitting on the machine and doing the task. No interaction with people. तो इसी को कहते हैं ना जॉब पर्सन फिट. चौथा स्केल है conscientiousness. Look at please. On one hand, you have careful, dependable. On the right hand side, the scale is careless, irresponsible. अच्छा, you could be irresponsible when you are a teenager. हर आदमी होता है, क्या ख्याल है? लेकिन ऐसे भी रिस्पॉन्सिबल टीनेजर नजर आते हैं who are focused on their career. बल्कि शायद हमारे कल्चर में तो इररिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी इंटर के बाद ज्यादा होती है. When I see students at the bachelor level, they wanted to go for medical school, they could not go. They wanted to go to engineering, they could not go. अच्छा, इंजीनियरिंग और मेडिसिन के अलावा भी तो भाई सैकड़ों प्रोफेशंस हैं. आज के दौर में तो हाउ अबाउट मीडिया पीपल speaking of earning, media people earning much more than engineers and doctors. So all what we are learning here is that irresponsible behavior तो कहीं भी invited नहीं होता. आप मुझे बताइए. But if you are dealing with a personality which you find out is careless, would you like to give him a project which needs to be delivered on time? Be careful. अच्छा, फिर while working in the office, please, if this is the kind of personality you have, it won't be required in the job. You will not progress successfully in your career. Job तो मिल ही जाएगी, फर्ज कीजिए, maybe on the basis of your degree, but you will not progress. Please tell me, do you like careless and irresponsible people? Probably not. But this is how sometime you will find. I'm not saying irresponsible, but you know, when I go, it's my experience, to some smaller cities where the time is slow. घंटे के तो 60 minutes ही होते हैं, लेकिन people have a lot of time. And when you have time, you try to become careless. And that's not good. Please change your personality. See, change. Change is required, and change is one of the factors in self-awareness. And the fifth factor in the Big Five model is openness to experience. What kind of personality do you have? Are you open for feedback, or would you not like to get the feedback? Openness to experience. And remember, experience is an observation. You learn from the experience. On one hand, you have people creative, curious, imaginative, always flying in the air. Maybe you would like to hire them for new product development project, new service design project. On the other hand, people who are not open to experience, unimaginative, dull, non-innovative. Would that be required in the office? Well, think about it. Where would you lie, or the person you are hiring to, or the person you are talking to, your brother, your sister, your friend, sitting next to you, where would you place him? Some people you would say, imaginative. आप उसको देखकर ही कहते हैं, यार तुम आइंस्टाइन लगते हो. And talking of the Einstein, Pakistan has no less than people who are imaginative. Remember that little girl from Pakistan who became a certified professional at a very young age? Nobody did that in the whole world. Imaginative, original, creative. Now, you can develop this creativity. Think of those tools. One tool which is coming to my mind is a sixth thinking hat, tool given by Edward de Bono. There are many tools. Dr. Edward de Bono is the word authority on making you more imaginative. So if, my dear students, if, for example, it turned out that ideas takes a long time to come to your mind, please take some courses, go to training programs, and if you can, go on the websites of Dr. Edward de Bono, or you can attend some programs of Dr. Edward de Bono. Thinking hats, lateral thinking, many programs. Tony Buzan, that's another person coming to my mind who can teach you how you can become innovative and imaginative. Acha, to become imaginative and creative, does it require a kind of skill by the manager? Do you think you need it? आप खुद फैसला कीजिए. And if your creativity and innovative skill is required and it takes you higher in the ladder to make better decisions, to come up with a better design of the process, to make analysis better, imaginative, who can look into the future, तो फिर आपको ये देखना पड़ेगा कि how do you make yourself open to new ideas, to new experiences, to new trainings? How can you change your personality? Remember, yes, it is an enduring characteristic, but if you can change the environment of your thinking, ideas, different ideas will fly out of your mind. So if you keep on doing what you have been doing for the last 20 years, I'm sorry, nothing will change. But if you make a decision, no, I will do it in a different way. I will learn from every experience. I will be open to feedback. I will be open to criticism. I will take the idea as a feedback. Feedback as a chance to improve. I will improve my personality so I can be a successful manager. That is the purpose of this course. That we like to develop those skills which will make you successful in the office, in the place. So you look at the openness, and it refers to the person's curiosity and range of interests. When you are open, would you like to learn new languages? Would you like to cook new dishes? Would you like to be comfortable meeting with different people? If you are majoring in marketing, would you like to learn supply chain? If you are majoring in supply chain, would you learn new IT language? If you look back, say 100 years ago, remember, people were philosophers, people were sociologists, people were physicists, people were medical doctors, people were good businessmen. That is what they were open to new experiences. They were open, जैसे कहते हैं ना, सफर वसीला ज़फर. What does that mean? When you travel, you have new experiences. New experience of people, new experience of places, new experience of process, new experience of food. You learn and enjoy and try to do. एक तो ये ना, ओहो ये कहाँ आ गए, ये किस जगह आ गए, ये कैसी फूड मिल गई, यहाँ तो कोक पेप्सी मिल ही नहीं रहा, यहाँ तो पानी, ये पानी कैसा मिल रहा है. I mean, if you go to Faisalabad and all that district Faisalabad, the kind of water you get, natural water, may not be, water quality may not be the same as you see in Lahore or Karachi. And talking of Karachi, water comes from way far away from Karachi. It is not a water which you take from the ground. It comes from the lake. Same is the case that when you go around the world, how do you cope and are you open for experience? Successful will be a personality. अच्छा ये जो आप job rotation का आपने सुना होगा. What is that job rotation? Let's learn from some of the Japanese companies. You know, when they close one product line and they open a new product line, one option is you fire all those people. That's one option. Second option is that all these people are ready to learn new skill. They're open to new experience. VCR का ज़माना नहीं है, DVD प्लेयर का ज़माना है. अब तो DVD प्लेयर का भी ज़माना नहीं है, अब तो मोबाइल फोन के अंदर बहुत सारी चीजें आ रही हैं. So the player has become a static player. And see how the world is changing. So if you can teach me new skill, I'll be comfortable. Things are merging together. Technologies are merging together. So are you open? The kind of personality you have, do you feel comfortable? Can you manage your emotions? Or do you develop good relationships? Do you develop good relationships? And if that is the kind of personality you have, I think chances are that's your personality. And then learn what is the kind of personality you're dealing with. ये दोनों information important है. What is my personality? What is your personality? Information number one. And make a good guess, good judgment. What are the other types of personality people would have? That brings me to an important part of personality learning, or the interpersonal needs addressing. How you fulfill those interpersonal needs when you are dealing with different personalities. What will be the kind of attributes you will be watching? अच्छा, आप उनसे पूछेंगे तो नहीं ना आपकी पर्सनैलिटी कौन सी है, इसलिए उन्होंने आपकी तरह से कोई ओबी का या मैनेजमेंट स्किल का कोर्स तो नहीं पढ़ा होगा ना. और मैं अमूमन कहा करता हूं, काश शादी से पहले जब एंगेजमेंट हो रही होती है तो हस्बैंड और वाइफ की पर्सनैलिटी का भी पता चल जाए कि ये सफर कैसा गुजरेगा. हमारे कल्चर में तो ये चीज शायद अलाउड ही नहीं है. वो भी माइंड कर जाएंगे, हस्बैंड भी माइंड कर जाएगा, या फियांसी भी माइंड कर जाएगी. बट आई थिंक द साइकोलॉजी, द साइंटिफिक रिजल्ट गिव्स अस सम क्लू. एंड एज ए मैनेजर नाउ, you need to develop this skill. And at least those of you who are not married, take it as a lesson learned. See how you can apply it and deploy it in the personal life. Because when personalities are different, you need to match the personality where it will be a win-win. Because the performance will go up. The journey, the sailing would be smooth. तूफान कम आएंगे तो सही, इसलिए कि लाइफ इटसेल्फ इज ए चैलेंज. लेकिन जब तूफान आएंगे तो दोनों पर्सनैलिटीज चूंकि अलाइंड हैं लाइफ का गोल अचीव करने में, फैमिली का गोल अचीव करने में, ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का गोल अचीव करने में, तो दोनों मिलकर या पूरी टीम मिलकर उस तूफान का मुकाबला करें. राइट? So that's why when we look at these personalities, personality type number 1, where is your locus of control? Personality type number 2, authoritarian personality. Personality type number 3, Machiavellian personality. Personality type number 4, self-monitoring personality. Personality type number 5, on the basis of attributes, risk propensity. How risk-taking this person is. Does he have the entrepreneurial skills? And you tell me, don't you need in the office some time to manage the product, to manage the project, to launch the product, and to manage the project? Those people who are courageous and take risk. Achha, don't you think people have different level of risk-taking personalities? Again, it is not a question of gender. That male are more risk taker than the females. No. You'll find many females. I'm not talking about Spider Woman. That's a scientific character, fiction. But you'll find females who can climb K2 or the Everest just like any male. It is nothing to do with the gender bias. And the sixth kind of personality, type A personality or type B personality. And the range between type A and type B, B plus, A minus, and A. See, 6 different kind of attributes, 6 different kind of personalities on the basis of your personality attributes. So would you like to learn? What are these? And out of these 6, where do you place yourself? So maybe, for example, for type A and type B, we will take an instrument. We will measure. Where do you place yourself? Either you are a type A or type B. And the Machiavellian personality. And by the way, who is Machiavelli? नाम सुना है? अगर नहीं, तो ये इंस्ट्रूमेंट यूज करने से पहले कुछ उसके बारे में पढ़ लीजिए. Maybe you can read on the Wikipedia or maybe you can read on the website. And his famous book being published for the last 400-500 years. The Prince, Machiavelli, Nicholas Machiavelli. The very famous book, The Prince. These 6 types of personalities, let's quickly see before we go to the assessment. Machiavellian personality, authoritarian के बारे में मुझे बताने की जरूरत नहीं है. I think it's very clear. This is a personality who would like to enjoy authority. All authority by himself. A person believes that status and power differences are appropriate and they must be there. Machiavellian personality is a personality attribute which describes the extent to which a person manipulates others for personal gain. Very famous quote of Machiavelli. People want to be cheated, so you cheat them and achieve your objective. ऐसे लोग होते हैं. Think about it. Ends will justify what mean I will use. By hook or by crook. Machiavellian personality tells you that your goals, your objectives, your gains will determine कि मुझे अगर लोगों के कंधों पे भी चढ़ के प्रमोशन लेनी पड़ी तो I'll do it. If I have to manipulate them, if I have to cheat them, if I have to deceive them, so what? I will achieve my objective. Self-monitoring personality. That is the personality I call personality of knowledge workers, who have their own look on the career. They have their own promotion plan and training plan. They know what skill to learn and what skill is getting obsolete. Knowledge worker. They will not wait that organization will come up their training plan. So self-monitoring is the personality. And again, that reminds me that conference when I was attending in San Francisco. And the chief operating officer of Google came. And you know what he said? He said, we hired the best people in the world because our search engine and our services and our platform and our docs and our facilities and our utilities, you name it. But you know, when we hire people, we hire the best. But after hiring, we don't touch them. We leave them alone. They set their own targets. They have their own plans. They achieve those targets and they take the company and their future and their career higher and higher and higher. Self-monitoring personality. It's a person who are sensitive to themselves and who are sensitive to others. They adapt their own behavior to meet external expectations. Expectations of the company, expectation of the family, expectation of the colleagues, expectation of the friends, and expectations of the situations. ठीक है? 6 personality types. आपकी dominant personality कौन सी है? I wish you can take all these 6 different instruments, but at least we will share and you will go through it and take the document in the Word and we will go through it. You fill it, at least between type A and B, and we would like to see how much Mac power, Machiavellian power, you like to enjoy by answering those statements. It would be interesting. Good to know about yourself and good to know others, so that when you react and interact with others, and sometime you react and interact with yourself, let it be a win-win situation. Let it not break. Let us make a successful life. Would you like to learn this so that you can have a successful life? I'm sure you will. I'll see you in the next session. Thank you and Khuda Hafiz.